Hi, I'm Noah and I roast historical figures. Today I'll be roasting Croatian fascist dictator and a man who's really lucky that he got to be a dictator because his eyebrows wouldn't have let him be anything else, Ante Pavelic. When Pavelic was a Croatian nationalist activist within Yugoslavia, he reached out to Mussolini's Italy for help dismantling Yugoslavia with the promise that the new independent Croatia would essentially be subservient to Italy. Pavelic was tired of being ruled by a Serb king who he thought didn't have his best interests at heart. He wanted to be ruled by an Italian dictator who he knew didn't have his best interests at heart. In 1929, Pavelic began forming the Ustasha, a Croatian revolutionary fascist group that was dedicated to forming an ethnically pure Croatia. Good thing they specified ethnically because if Pavelic is a part of something, there's no way it can be pure. The Ustasha eventually assassinated the king of Yugoslavia, which led Pavelic to say that assassination is the only language that Serbs understand. That would be absurd hyperbole no matter what, but it's especially inane because not only do Serbs understand other languages, most of them understand Croatian. Pavelic was given control of Croatia after the Axis powers invaded Yugoslavia, although he wasn't Germany's first choice as they preferred to have puppet governments that had some measure of popular support, and Germany estimated that only about 2% of Croatians supported Pavelic. I don't want to say that Pavelic was the most unpopular man in Europe, but I will say that after they put him in charge, even the Nazis were like, God, this feels pretty undemocratic. Although the Ustasha weren't founded as a particularly anti-Semitic group, in part due to his support from Germany, one of Pavelic's first acts as leader of Croatia was to put Jews, Serbs, and Roma into a legal category that essentially took away all their rights. There's no good reason to persecute an entire group of people like that, but I have to say it's especially pathetic that Pavelic's reason was that all the cool kids were doing it. A close associate of Pavelic said that he put so much effort into persecuting Serbs, which eventually led to the genocide of Serbs in Croatia because he was attempting to distract from all the concessions he had to make to Italy to stay in power. That's horrifying and also a very stupid strategy. If there's one thing that large-scale ethnic violence in that part of the world tends to remind people of, it's the Axis powers. Alright, please consider donating to help the family that I sponsor in Gaza. If you'd like to support me or watch bonus videos, please check out my Then let me know who else to roast, and join me next time for part 2 of my roast of Croatian dictator and a man who always looks like someone just stepped on his tail, Ante Pavelic.